Hello everyone, this is Alicia and I am here today with a Whip It Up Wednesday crock pot brisket sandwich. This is part of the collab with Sutton's Daze, Kneady Homesteader, Linda's Pantry, Wilhelm's Kitchen, and Moore2 Life. And I'm going to show you how to make this. I went ahead and put in a can. It's 1 can of diced tomatoes. I just didn't think you wanted to hear me open the can, my noisy can opener. I'm adding to that 1/3, 2/3 of a cup of chicken broth. You can use beef or chicken broth. I actually happen to already have an open jar from my freezer of chicken broth, and I needed to use it the rest, so I went with that today instead of opening a beef broth, but you can use either one. And also you need 1/3 of a cup of wine. I have used both white and red. I'm not a wine connoisseur. If you are, you might be more opinionated, but I pretty much just use it for cooking, so I buy these little nips. So about 1/3 of a cup of wine. Dry is probably best in this recipe. I've got 1 onion here. I'm gonna just cut into pretty much large chunks. I'm not planning on eating chunks of onion. It's more of an aromatic, get the flavor into the beef thing. Get that. So we've got my chunks of onion in there. I am also putting in 4 cloves of garlic. See, I tried to chop everything ahead of time today to make it faster. I've got a teaspoonish of dried oregano. A bit more to make a teaspoon. And a little bit of salt, like a big pinch, smaller pinch of pepper. And then I'm going to put a brisket in here. Grab it. This is a 2-pound brisket. I normally do like 2.5 to 3, but my husband won't be here tonight, so I'm going a little bit smaller. Normally I buy briskets right around Easter time and freeze them. They tend to be on sale a lot then. So this is pretty much it. I'm going to put it on low for 8 hours, and I serve it on, tonight I have ciabatta rolls. Sometimes I use focaccia. I have also used a jalapeno cheddar bread. That's really good with it too. But I serve it on the rolls with a spring mix or sprouts. Today I have like a spring green mix and a chutney. I'm going to show you how I make a cherry chutney for it today that I'm going to use tonight. In the summertime when I have plums on my tree, I use a plum chutney for it. But this time of year all I can find are cherries, and those are frozen cherries that I'm using for the chutney. They're not fresh here in November. But I will show you how to do the chutney next so that you know what I serve it with. So let me rearrange the camera so you can see that, and we'll get started on that. Okay, you guys, this is my cherry chutney, and I went ahead and got it all started. What this is in here is a shallot that I chopped up pretty fine. It was a large one too. I put in, let me grab my recipe for you. I put in a tablespoon-ish of ginger, fresh ginger that I peeled and chopped. It also has a couple of tablespoons of white wine vinegar, a couple of tablespoons, 1.5, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a little salt, and a pinch of cayenne. And I just kind of sauteed it in here until it got going, and then I covered it and let it simmer just to get the onions soft. And now what I'm going to do is add in the cherries. These were frozen cherries I got at Trader Joe's, and it's about 3/4 of a package, so about 3/4 of a pound. I just cut them in half. I'm going to add those in, and then I'm just going to cook it until it gets kind of like a jam. So I will see you back here after I'm jamming. Alright guys, so the cherries are jammied. You can tell when you kind of move them around, the liquid in between. There's not much liquid, which is good. You don't want soggy sandwiches. But the liquid between is thicker. It was bubblier. I just turned it off, but the bubbles were thick and slow. You know how it gets with jams. I'm going to put this in a bowl in the fridge until dinner time. Normally, I forgot to mention that you can make this right before you serve it, and you can have it warm on the sandwich. You can make it in the early day like I am now. I put the brisket in, and then I made this, I'm putting in. But what I normally do is I actually make it a day or 2 before. I might use it for something else, and if I have some left, then I'll be like, oh, get a brisket out of the freezer and make those sandwiches. But this is, because it's like a jam, it can keep for a week or 2 in your fridge. So you can make this on the weekend if you're going to have brisket sandwiches during the week, and you can just have it ready sitting in your fridge. You don't have to make it as part of the prep time of the crock pot. And I know for me, when I plan a crock pot meal, it's because I do not have time for any other part, and so I don't like having a bunch of other steps or other side things added to it. So I do this ahead normally. Today I'm fine because I'm filming this, but normally I do it on a completely different day, so that all I'm doing the day of is putting that beef mixture in and slicing the bread, and there's nothing else left to do. So when the meat is out of the crock pot tonight, I will show you how I put a sandwich together. All right, you guys, I am back to make the sandwich. The brisket has cooked. I took it out and shredded it up with 2 forks. I'm gonna put just a little bit of the sauce from the crock pot on there. I just wanna juice it up a tiny bit, but not too much. Again, I don't like soggy bread in my sandwiches. So I'll just get a little, it was probably like 1/2 to 3/4 of a ladle full, kind of mix it in there. So you've got this tender shredded brisket. Now you can slice it instead if you like, but on sandwiches and tacos and things, I like my meat shredded, not sliced. But this is the brisket. I have some ciabatta rolls here. It's just what my bakery had today in the grocery store. There are these. I sliced it. I did toast very lightly the inside. I just stuck it under the broiler for a minute. I've used focaccia, and that works really well. I've used jalapeno cheddar rolls. That works really well. Pretty much any good bread. You wouldn't do like your regular wheat sandwich bread or whatever. It'd be too thin and get too mushy, I guess is the word I'm looking for. A good roll, bread, sandwich roll, whatever. I'm going to, where's my bottom? Here's my bottom. Okay, I'm going to put on a little bit of my cherry chutney that we made earlier. And when I say a little, I mean a lot, because I like it. Okay, just want to get it covered in there. And then I'm going to take some of this brisket, quite a bit of it actually. Don't be stingy. And that chutney with the cayenne it's kind of the sweet part of this, but it's also got a tiny bit of kick with that cayenne. The brisket is a lot more savory because it's pretty much just got like the salt, pepper, tomato flavor. And at this point, I've actually tasted my brisket and I forgot I wanted to add a tiny bit of salt to it. I tasted in the pot and I just forgot to add it in. Then usually before I shred it, I'll taste it and do that. The last thing to go in my sandwich here is going to be like a spring greens mix. Just put a little ball of that on top. And here we go with a fabulous beef brisket sandwich. Try to get all the angles here. Right there you can see the chutney, the beef, the lettuce, and it just is nice. It's got fresh crunch, it's got the meaty, comfort, warm sandwich feel, it's got sweetness from the cherries, which makes it one of my family's favorite meals. I hope you try it, and I hope you enjoy it.